Boom. I remember a story recently. I think I wrote about this, I believe, in my first book, but I can't fully remember. But I was talking to an executive that was having a little bit of a hard time with some of a project he was managing and a team he was leading, and sort of respect up and down the chain, chain of command, so to speak, within that project. And it reminded me of a story relatively early in my career. I'm a lieutenant at this point in my career, which is an '03, so three ranks up into the Navy officer ranks. And the SEAL teams can be unbelievably informal compared to a lot of other units. There's not a lot of times the guys, call you sir. You're often called by your nickname, or we're less formal than that. And then it's rare I call one of my guys by their petty officer rank or something like that. Chiefs, you're going to call chief because they've earned that respect, and senior officers get that. There's no disrespect there. It's just it can be informal. But sometimes that informality can create a problem, and in this instance, it had. I was training in the morning. We'd get in early before the team started and do some jiu-jitsu training. I wish I'd stayed with it from that point to now. I do it now, but I didn't then. Training with a very famous SEAL you probably know out in the public life that is a jiu-jitsu practitioner of high levels, but we're training every morning. We kind of created this fight club, and it was officer and enlisted all in there getting this training in. And so when that's the case, when you're fighting, rank is pretty much thrown out the door. You can't have somebody that's going to, hey, here's a senior officer, it's a junior person. I'm not going to beat this guy. One, the senior person would hate that, and two, it would just create a bad environment. So it was very, very informal, and you kind of just let each other have it. But I remember one morning, one of the guys I was training with, I'll call him Mike. It's not his name. I don't want to out him because of this, but we're finished up training. We get showered up. I go to shave, and Mike turns to me, and this is one of my junior enlisted guys. So he'd never called me anything other than LT, sir, or something formal. He actually says, "Hey, Rourke," my first name, and says whatever he says. Super taken aback by it when he says it. And I said, what was that? And he's like, no, sir, are we doing this? I was like, did you call me Rourke? And he's like, I did. And I said, hey, let me highlight this for you. This has nothing to do with me. I just want to highlight this for you so you think of it as you move on in your career. Because he's very, very junior. He hasn't had that much time in the teams yet, let alone the military. I said, hey, Mike, when you call me sir, or call me in an appropriate formal style, it doesn't do a lot for me. I mean, I think everybody enjoys being addressed at a level commensurate with what they've kind of earned or the position they're in. But I said, it doesn't show super positively or any way towards me. It shows hugely on you. As an example, at my first team, a team that he and I weren't at, I was on the East Coast. This was when I was on a West Coast team. I said, there was a guy at the team that was absolutely emphatic about using formal representation in the way he addressed people. Sir, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, absolutely, commander, chief, and just nobody liked it at the team. It was almost too much, but something about that level of formality that he delivered to anyone that he was in an interaction with created an unbelievable level in our minds of him being squared away and disciplined and of the highest level of performance. I tell this because the counterpoint is he ended up being sort of a villain at the team. He was actually stealing stuff from some of the team equipment. He'd done some very, very suspect things with travel claims and where money could be moved around. He actually wasn't that good a guy. But because of the level of the formality, we all thought he was a top performer. And so I told Mike, I was like, there's a lesson there. If nothing else, you give that formal, disciplined, high level of respect and communication, you will start at a level of people thinking you are a super high performer. Now, you are a high performer, so that's going to match. This person wasn't, but we still thought that. So I kind of told this executive, I was like, there might be an opportunity there to share that story, or to share that a level of formality in the way we talk to each other and relate to each other can lead towards better understanding of the mission, the task, and how we're going to do that as a group. Insist on people honoring or matching the level of respect you command. That team will do great things. Ever onward.